everybody. So it's Heather with South Shore Industry Night, and I'm actually here with Dr. Chris Nussbaum, and he's with Insight Life Care in Brandon. He's one of my premier sponsors for our big first ever South Shore Industry Night that's going to be at Features Gastropub on June 26th from 4:30 to 6:30. Dr. Nussbaum, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
I'm really excited about this because you and I have been talking on and on now for the past few minutes. You have so much to share about what you offer here that it's going to be hard for you guys to find out all about it in 5 to 7 minutes. But this is a man you're going to want to talk to on June 26th. Tell us a little bit about Insight Life Care, what makes you unique in the services that you offer the area.
Thanks, Heather. Well, Insight Life Care is an adult VIP concierge-style medical group at an affordable price, making available services to people sort of old school. I've had a lot of patients say to me, "Oh, you're like Marcus Welby." And I say to them, "Well, I'm not Marcus Welby, but I'd like to be. I'd like to have a type of practice where people have a personal relationship with their doctor, where instead of going through an answering service after hours, they can call me directly on my phone, where if they go to the hospital, I'm in there taking care of them and quarterbacking all of their needs."
Crazy.
Yeah, and where they can always call for information, results, advice, and there's no loose ends. There's no dangling in the wind. If we set up an appointment for them to see a subspecialist, we actually make all the arrangements for them. If they need a prescription, we talk to them about why and how. So instead of the only information source they have being the internet, we spend a lot of time with them. Appointments are measured in hours rather than in minutes. If we see 5 or 6 people a day, that's a busy day for us. And uniquely, we go to people's homes or their place of business. So for our patients that may have a harder time or where it might be taxing or difficult for them to get to the office, we can come to them and they can choose those types of level of services. And when I arrive, I have a properly licensed and very experienced nurse with me. So things like office procedures, drawing blood, you don't have to go stand in the lab or wait hours and hours. And we actually even reach into our consultants' offices and tell our patients to let us know if they're sitting for more than 15 or 20 minutes, call us from there, and we make a friendly phone call to their managers and make sure that they know that our people are VIPs and are sitting in the office waiting.
I was going to say, it's like rock star treatment, right?
I think it's like human being treatment.
Right.
Okay. There's no reason why people's time and effort should be disrespected. And the other thing that most people are, really disappointed with is when they go to the doctor's office. Well, first of all, a lot of times they don't see the doctor. They see a substitute for a doctor. And with all due respect, and I train nurse practitioners, that's a little bit different. There's pilots and there's co-pilots. And when you have a complex adult issue, you'd probably like to have somebody who's experienced and been around and got a little gray hair on their head taking a look at the problem. The other thing about that is you don't want to be rushed. And as we age and mature and chronic diseases become more likely and prevention becomes more important, you need a little more time. This, slap and tickle 5-minute medicine, that's not going to get it done. People often say, well, I just go to the urgent care clinic. You need to look carefully as to what you're getting when you do that, and there's no continuity. That Marcus Welby approach where I get to know the people that I take care of, and many times get to go to their home, that opens up a whole new doorway about information and about what's really happening.
But you've also showed me around today. We had a tour. It's a beautiful, beautiful building. You're not just for going into people's homes either. I mean, you've got a great place here where they can actually come and be seen, right?
Yeah, we're proud of our office. It's a very comfortable space. When we designed it, and I'm the interior decorator, so it's a reflection of the things I like to do.
Wow.
But when we designed it, we thought about what would be most comfortable for people, and we try to make it like a first-class cabin in a nice jet. The thing about it is, as you've seen, that our waiting room is intentionally very small because very many people never go there. Almost all of our patients walk in, we say hi, and we're ready for them. If we have an appointment at 10 a.m., well, we're ready at 9:50. And we're also about making you more comfortable. So if it's something difficult to talk about, we can be right where we are now in our conference area. Whole families can come in. Sometimes we do that. We try to make sure there's something nice to nibble on, something nice to drink. And if we've got to talk about challenging stuff, it's uncomfortable enough to come to the doctor and get undressed and have all your personal stuff out on the table. So why not make it a little easier? And simultaneously, there's no rush. There's plenty of time to talk about what you need to, plenty of time for me to give you some ideas about improving how your health might go. We joke around about trying to get people younger rather than older in an upcoming year. And I think, a lot of times we see folks that are frustrated with their experience somewhere else or have an ongoing problem that hasn't been solved. And what really gives me the juice and makes me really excited is how often we're able to turn that 100% around. And then we get raving fans. We get people that are just ready to go out and tell everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really pleasing. And we also have some people that are stuck. I have a 107-year-old patient that I take care of. She does not get in and out of the house very easily. And her, kids that are a mature adult. It's always funny when someone says, "I want you to meet my son," and he's 80.
And he's the young one.
Yeah.
He's the baby.
And actually what we have a lot of right now is baby boomers who want us to take care of their folks because they don't want to have them in facility that's not attentive. They are not sure that they're going to get to the doctor's office and not be there for hours waiting and minutes being seen, and then the problem's still unsolved. And really, a lot of times the value comes out when someone goes to the hospital. Middle of the night, 3 a.m., something happened. It's a hospital-based doctor or a trainee, and there's all sorts of people disagreeing with stuff, and nobody knows who's really running the show.
I've been there. I know what that's like.
So I tell people, look, I'm your advocate in this, and that's an overused word. What I really am is your gladiator, because there are some competing circumstances. Hospitals are businesses, they want to make money. The best ones really want to do that by taking excellent care of their patients. But if you're there without anybody who knows you and knows your particular circumstances, it's harder to achieve that. And, if you have somebody who's constantly pushing a little bit and making a little bit a nuisance of themselves to get things done for you first, well, your stay there should be shorter, less expensive, and less dangerous.
And what I like too when I came in here is that you have an on-site lab. You have a lab right here in your office.
Yeah, most of the procedures and things that you need done we can do right here, or we have really great relationships with the major reference labs. A lot of times people say, well, do you accept my insurance? And we don't work that way at all. We work a little bit differently. Whatever insurance you have, that's great. We're going to bill it when you come to our office, and if we get something from them, fine. If we don't, you will never get a balance bill. We write off any balances, or we simply don't bill them. Instead, we ask you to pay a monthly stipend, and that's way less than people think. In fact, if you go to Starbucks regularly, you're paying more for your coffee than you would for a month of care from us.
You're killing me, Chris.
Well, that's true.
You're speaking to me.
And people can take a look at our website and see that that's actually the case, and we're very happy to do that. We control the size of our practice. It's meant to be smaller, and it doesn't have to be huge. And that way we do get to develop a personal relationship. My patients know our business manager, Brian. They know Victoria. They'll call in asking for them. They don't want to talk to me. They want to talk to them about something.
Right.
And a lot of people stop in because they're in the neighborhood and they just want to chat with us. And we leave a lot of free time during the day available so that when stuff comes up, we can always handle it. Jokingly, I refer to something called FAC, Friday Afternoon Club. There's always somebody who gets sick on a Friday afternoon and was all week long waiting to see if they should do anything and realize, uh-oh, it's the weekend.
Right.
For our senior patients in particular, they need someone to slow it down and explain it to them correctly, to take stock of the fact that they might not be able to walk as fast or hear as well or see as well, and really put themselves in their shoes and flip it around. If that was mom, would it pass the mom test?
Well, I think you can tell by this interview, this is a guy you got to come out and meet on Senior Service Industry Night. We go back a long way. I was impressed before, but I'm definitely blown away
Thanks,
today.
Heather.
So
I
this
appreciate
has been
it.
fantastic.
That's sweet of you.
Now, a little bit of a fun part of this. On the end of an interview, I always like for people to connect to you on a personal level. So I'm going to ask you to share with us maybe something about you personally that we wouldn't know but find quite interesting.
I guess a lot of people go around the office and see pictures of me in race cars. I'm an amateur race car driver and owner. I've had some racing teams, and I've been able to drive with some famous professional racers. I was coached and still very good friends with pro racers, and that's been a lifelong dream from the time I was a little kid, making race car noises at the kitchen table.
I want to go fast.
Sure, exactly right. And there's an old saying, racing is life. Everything else is just waiting.
Right.
But it's a blast, and there's a huge amateur racing community, and it's a magnet for people that enjoy the camaraderie and the spirit of the competition. But then afterwards, we all go to dinner together and kid around and learn a lot about each other's businesses. And you see people that have arrived at the track in their own aircraft with a bunch of uniformed team members.
Holy cow.
And then you see guys who have a van that looks like it's from 100 years ago that barely got out on the track. And sometimes those are the faster guys.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And I really enjoy that a lot. I got a lot of other hobbies, but that one's pretty high on the list.
Fantastic. Well, so if anybody's a racing fan, you'll definitely have something to talk about when you see him at Industry Night, which I'm going to remind you once again, is going to be coming up, first ever for South Shore, on June 26th from 4:30 to 6:30. Features Gastropub. It's over in the movie theater right off of Gibsonton Drive. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks so much,
you
Heather.
so
Pleasure.
much.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I'll see you again soon.
All right, and we'll see you guys in a few weeks. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.